Have you ever felt like you were doing all the things, listening to worship music on your drive to work, showing up for Bible study every week, following yet another reading plan, even praying over your goals, and still your faith feels flat? I know you love God, you're showing up, you're putting in the effort, but deep down, something kind of still feels off. So you keep wondering, why does my faith feel stuck when I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do? Most Christian women that I talk to, they reach a point where their faith feels, more like a checklist than an actual connection to God. You're not losing your faith. You're just tired of doing something that's not growing you in any way. And here's the truth. It's not your passion that's the problem. It's not your love for God. It's not your discipline or even your desire. It's your method. You've been trying to grow your faith by following someone else's formula, but God has designed you with your own. So in this video today, we're going to unpack why your faith growth may feel stalled and what you can do about it. We're going to go through the difference between trying harder and growing by design, and why copying someone else's faith routine leaves you feeling, guilty, inconsistent, and stuck, and how to identify your unique faith shapes the way that you best connect to God, and how shifting your method can really help you find clarity and peace and your momentum again. Because you know what? Faith isn't about doing more. It's actually about doing what works for you. So by the end, you're going to see how just little simple shifts in your approach can really transform not only your spiritual life, but the way that you lead, work, and do life every single day. Hey there, wise woman. This is Deneen TB, your faith growth and work alignment strategist, helping driven Christian women professionals and business owners design a faith growth rhythm and practices that actually fits their lives without the pressure of doing more, so that you, all of you, can lead with purpose, live out your mission, and create lasting influence for God in your work and in your life. So let's get started by looking at the trying harder versus growing by design. When your faith feels stuck, the first instinct, the first thing you think about is that, I just need to try harder. You do this. You add more things to your plate, actually. You might pick up an extra devotional, or start listening to a different or another podcast, or you buy a new journal, or you maybe even sign up for a second Bible study group. And you think, if I could just be more consistent, maybe I'd finally feel close to God. But that's actually where the frustration builds. And what you end up doing is you end up feeling exhausted, not encouraged. Because you know what? Spiritual growth doesn't come from adding more effort. It comes from aligning your effort with your design. You were never meant to connect with God in the same way that your friend does, or your pastor, or even a mentor that you've had. When you try to do that, you end up in what I call this cycle of guilt and comparison, and it just goes around and around, and you're thinking, what's wrong with me? When really, there's nothing wrong with you. You're simply using someone else's method for your own personal spiritual growth. Growing by design means discovering how God has uniquely wired you to love Him with all of your heart, soul, mind, and strength. It's what I call your faith shape. Mark 12:30 tells us to love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and mind and strength. Those aren't just poetic words. They're actually 4 distinct ways that God has designed each of us to connect with Him. Your faith shape is as personal as your blueprint for spiritual growth. It's how you naturally are wired to love God, experience His presence, grow closer to Him, really in a way that feels life-giving, not this draining that happens so often. So here's what that looks like if you haven't heard it before. A heart-led woman connects through emotions, relationship, and worship. A soul-led woman connects through reflection, creativity, and meaning. A mind-led woman connects through study and structure and understanding, while a strength-led woman connects through action and service and follow-through. Each of us has a unique blend of these 4 areas, but one is usually dominant, that faith shape, and that's what we call your primary leading. It's where your faith feels the most natural and the most fulfilling. And when you understand your faith shape, you stop forcing yourself into someone else's rhythm, trying their practices on, and you begin to grow by design, the way that God created you. So if you've ever wondered why some spiritual practices really light you up while others leave you, bored, stuck, this is where it all starts. So what I want you to do is, if you haven't done it already, is take that faith shape quiz. I've got it down in the description below and you can take it. It's a very simple quiz to really uncover how God designed you to connect best with Him, to get you started. It only takes a few minutes, but the results are going to give you instant clarity about what's missing and how to grow with freedom and obviously with joy. So, why does your faith growth feel stalled? Why is it stuck? Why is it kind of come to a halt? The truth is, most women, they never hear this. Your faith isn't stagnant because you're not disciplined enough. It's because you've been trying to grow in a way that doesn't match your design. I hope you hear that. I hope you really hear that. I want you to imagine for a minute trying to grow your business or start a team project without a plan. You wouldn't wake up each day and just say, let's see what happens with today. No, what you would do is you would set the goals, you'd create a strategy, you'd measure the progress that you were making. Am I right? I know I'm right. Yet when it comes to our faith, that's kind of exactly what we do. We want to feel spiritually alive, but we don't have a clear rhythm, a clear direction. We just keep adding more things. Like I said, more devotionals, more groups, more commitments, hoping that something will finally click with us. It will finally all make sense. And the result? Instead of being filled up, there's exhaustion and guilt and comparison. And you start to think, maybe I'm just not spiritual enough. And you question your closeness to God, and you wonder if you're actually doing something wrong. But nothing could be further from the truth. You're not behind, you're not broken, you're simply using someone else's growth strategy for your very soul. And just like your business or your career thrives when you work in your strengths, your faith flourishes when you grow in alignment with your faith shape. When you know whether you're a heart, soul, mind, or strength-led woman, everything else starts to make sense. You see why certain spiritual practices never stick. You can't keep up with them because they're not for you. You stop feeling guilty for not doing what others do. Just because it worked for her doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You finally have peace about what actually helps you grow. And that's the exciting part, because you will grow. Your faith stops feeling like an effort, and it really starts to be an overflow, which is my word. When you grow by design, not default, something changes inside of you. Your connection with God deepens. So quiet time becomes truly quality time. Your peace expands. So you stop striving and you start trusting. Your leadership transforms as well. You start to show up with confidence and focus and grace because your inner world is aligned with God's rhythm, your rhythm with Him. That's the moment. That's the moment that you realize that your spiritual growth isn't really separate from your work or your leadership. It's actually the foundation of it. And when your faith is in rhythm, your whole life comes into rhythm as well. Once you understand your faith shape and your growth path, which is the next step of that, something begins to really shift on the inside. You move from guilt to growth, from pressure to peace, from striving to surrender. Instead of trying to force your faith into someone else's mold, right? You are finally discover what actually fuels your connection with God. And so then it becomes and it feels effortless. And it's kind of exciting as well. Understanding your faith shape really brings clarity because you know exactly what draws you closer to God and what simply drains you. It also brings peace because you stop comparing yourself to what other people are doing in their faith practices and you rest in God's unique design of you. It also gives you freedom because you rediscover in your relationship with God that it's no longer about treating it like a checklist, but it becomes this daily conversation of love and trust. When your inner world becomes settled, then your outer world begins to really reflect it. The inward alignment, it sets the stage for outward fruit. When you're no longer weighed down by the guilt of all the shoulds, I should do this and I should do that, everything actually changes, especially how you show up in your work and in your leadership. You begin to lead again from that place of overflow, not depletion. You make decisions with calm confidence. Oh, that sounds really good, right? Because when you do that, your peace isn't tied to performance, it's rooted in presence. You carry yourself with an atmosphere of grace into everything that you do, every meeting, every conversation, every responsibility that you have. Your spiritual alignment becomes your greatest leadership advantage because when your faith rhythms, those practices are in sync with your design, you model what wholeness looks like. You show your team, you show it to your family, you show it to your clients that spiritual growth and professional excellence, they don't compete. They complete, complement each other. Did you hear me? They don't compete. They complete. They complement each other. Faith alignment builds emotional stability, stronger boundaries, greater influence. And as you lead from this overflow, others can see the difference too. You're not striving to prove yourself. You're simply walking in God's design. When you grow by His design, of course, you're going to lead with His grace. So if your faith growth has felt stalled, it's not because you're failing. It's because you've been following the wrong blueprint. And there is good news. I always have good news for you. God has already designed one that fits you perfectly. Your faith shape is that first step, your personal key to understanding how you naturally connect to God. But it's just the beginning of a much, much deeper journey. Because once you know your faith shape, the next question is, well, how do I grow within it? And that's where the personalized faith plan, I lovingly call it the PFP, comes in. Inside the PFP, we take what you discover in the quiz and we turn it into a clear, intentional growth path so that you'll learn to really build those faith rhythms and practices that actually fit your personality, your season of life, your schedule at this time in your life. It's also there to help you integrate your spiritual life into your work and your relationships, into your leadership. It also helps you create those habits that will actually last, be sustainable without guilt or striving or comparison. And then it will help you move from spiritual frustration, the ups and downs, the highs and lows, to consistent, sustainable growth. The personalized faith plan, the PFP, helps you grow deeper in every area of your faith shape: heart, soul, mind, and strength, no matter which direction yours goes. So your connection with God, it's stronger, it's steadier, more life-giving over time, because your faith isn't meant to be something you force yourself to do. It's meant to flow like a rhythm. So if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels, start growing by design, here is your next step. Well, first of all, take the Faith Shape quiz, which is down in the description. And I would love for you to schedule a call with me. That link is down in the description as well. We're going to talk about the personalized faith plan and how it can help you turn the discovery of your faith shape into a customized plan for lasting growth. You don't need to start over. You just need a new rhythm, one that fits you. So let me know in the comments, what would it look like for you if your faith felt peaceful, purposeful, and personal again? What would that do for you? Let me know down in the comments. Love chatting with you there. Make sure to subscribe as well. This is Deneen TV. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, be filled to overflowing.